Well, good morning. Welcome aboard Flying with Mike. We are off and running, heading over to Phoenix-Mesa Gateway. It's over in the Phoenix area. It's not the international airport, but it's another one used by the airline you see on the screen. Hello, Steve. What's up? Yo, yo. So we are in final preparation. As you can see, the fuel truck's hooked up, giving us some gas, and we'll get our way here shortly. So let's get up in the cockpit and see where things are. Okay, so we're up in the cockpit, give you a more broad view, gives you a little bit of the electronic flight bag on the left side, as well as the rest of the middle cockpit area here where the flight captain sits, as well as the first officer. We do have the aircraft currently powered up, basically on external power only. So we'll kind of review, kind of do a quick preliminary prep, and then we're going to kick on here and get going. This is about a 3-hour flight, so sit back, relax. We'll hopefully have a great run today. Heading over to Bogota. Awesome. That's a great flight. Anything into Bogota is always fun. 8,000 feet above sea level. Okay, so the aircraft, as you can kind of see on the electronic flight bag, we are pretty heavily loaded down with people. Total load, we'll bring that up here on Sim Toolkit as I make sure the rest of my screens don't decide to have a tissy here. Okay, so there's Sim Toolkit, and over there where you can see it now. Okay, so as you can see, we're sitting pretty much right in the rain. That sounds like a pretty normal thing here in St. Louis lately. We're down in southwestern Missouri today, and this is a normally scheduled flight a couple times a week out of Springfield to Phoenix. The one that I took the flight plan from was Allegiant 679. So, and that ding, I need to head over and check. Hang on a second, because I think I got a squawk code. I sure did, 1156. Wow. Haven't been getting those lately, so let me just write that down. And we'll get to that as we continue the build up here to pushing back. So there's where we're sitting. We got some rain to travel through until we get over here towards Panhandle of Texas. So, and that's going to be here, my weather for tomorrow where I live in St. Louis. If not, later today. Usually tracks right up this interstate here, I-44. Alright, so for the loadout though, we're looking at 177 people. Hence why all the blue you see there on the little bit of the EFB that you see. We also have 300 pounds of cargo, so the payload is 15,168 kilograms. And yes, folks, this plane only runs in, leaving Bogota. Okay, Steve, sorry about it. And heading over to, is that a, I can't even think, can't think of the name of the airport. I want to say Guadalcanal, wrong place. Guadalajara, that's what I was trying to think of. Guadalcanal, wow, that's about 5,000 miles away from Bogota. Anyway, back to our, I think I need to stay focused on my flight. All right, so we got, like I said, 15,168 kilograms. This aircraft doesn't have a way to set to pounds. So we got to work in the European, everyone else's units of measure, the kilograms and all of that good fun stuff. Oh, I forgot to acknowledge it. Doggone it. Hang on a second. Yeah, hang on. Let's run. There we go. Let me see if it entered. It sure did. Okay, my bad. I always forget about that with POSCON. I'm still used to VATSIM. So that's why we're in kilograms. Fuel for today, 10,614 kilograms. That too is being uplifted at this time. So we'll run out of here on a cruise cost index of 24 at a flight level of 36,000. So there's your flight for the most part, folks. Kind of shows you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to translate that all now. Let me pull SimBrief away, since I'm always remiss in that. There we go. And what I'm going to do is start getting ready for the flight here as well. It always helps to display. There we go. Okay, so we'll get the overlay up on the top. All right, so we're at the point now where let's go through the preliminary checks. First thing we want to do is on the EFB. Let me pull that up for you. It'll pull up when you fire the aircraft on this screen. Simply turn your ground power, and I always put my chocks on. And then if you want, go through and set everything else up, or wait, because there is a step like this where we're at right now where you can do that on this checklist. And I got this one right off the xplane.org site, and it's a really good checklist. And for those of you like me flying with a VA today, it really comes in handy. Hang on a second here. I just noticed something not started. There we go. So anyway, we need to have those two pieces on. Then we begin the actual process of loading the plane. Okay, I hear my computer doing things, but I don't know why. Or is it mine? Huh, interesting. Okay, so all right, just getting one other step going here. Okay, so for the preliminary cockpit checks, this basically when you walk on the plane, what you want to make sure are in place before you start doing your exterior, your McDo, any of your other checks. You want to make sure these basic things are in place. Starting with, you guessed it, make sure that parking brake's on. Then we're going to work our way up. Now, when I come into this plane all the time, the spoiler is sitting below 50%. I'll run it to 100% back up, and so it's up. Make sure your flaps are up. Make sure the engine selector knob. Let me kind of move this so you can see it better. It's right here in between the two switches. Make sure it's in normal. That's 12 o'clock with that line, by the way, folks. Make sure your two engine start master start switches are off, and that's all the way back. Move your throttles, make sure they work. If not, do a quick calibration here in X-Plane. It's very painless. Okay, now as we move our way up, I'm going to switch over. Make sure the gear is down. If you fly the 747 from Sparks 43, which is free, definitely check that, because I have come in there about a half a dozen times now and the gear was up. However, the gear itself was down, the lever was up. Just, make sure you have that down. This one I haven't found it yet up, but still always check. Then up on the upper panel, make sure your wipers are off, and they're located on each corner here in the lower. Off is 12 o'clock. Okay. To power up, now when you come in, all the switches are going to look just like these, including your batteries. Now they're powered up because I'm on the external power right now, but everything is going to be dark. So you don't know, are your batteries on or are they off? I do this every time, folks. Come down to the middle panel here. Right here's your landing gear where you would check for 3 green, down and green. Boom. If they're not on, the batteries aren't on. Also, this may or may not be on. But anyway, those 3 will come on with your batteries. So once you get to your batteries, click number 1, which by the way was off, will turn number 2 on. Click on number 2 and everything, you'll see the fire handles light up a little bit. Couple of other lights will come on. You are then powered up, and if you come down, you'll see those 3 green lights. And maybe the backup artificial horizon powering up. Once you have that established, click external power and you're on. You'll see the whole panel light up like you see, and again, each of these will flash a couple times. And then you'll get the panels or the displays down here in a test mode. Takes them about a 45-second cycle to a minute, and then they'll be looking just like this. Which is where we are. I'm sorry, folks, getting used to a new layout here of my keypad, because when I came into it, it was always on the pedestal. That was kind of annoying to me. I like it being here instead of down there. So again, pilot preference, you're the captain, make it however you want. I do have X camera here, so we'll be playing with it in flight. We got a 3-hour flight, so once you're powered up, the simple cockpit preparation is all lights. So up on the upper panel, turn your nav lights either to 1 or 2. We'll go to 2. I always arm my emergency at this time, and you can kick your no smoking sign on, and I'll put the seat belts to auto. And if you see some switches on off, you feel free to turn them off now or during the overhead. I get the cabin cargo heat. Boy, we'll get it right yet. Not many more places to go after the cargo area. Turn those on, and I put this to 12 o'clock as well, and put the cabin however you want it, heat, and, cold or hot or whatever you want. That's the things I do. There's also light switches to turn up here if you so choose for your PFD and nav display. Same thing on the first officer side, and right here also with your floods. Also, your E-cams are turned up here. I turn them always up to the full bright position. I don't turn my floods up at all. And that, folks, takes us back to where we were when we stepped aboard the cockpit. We are now to the aircraft loading, and this is all done on this guy here, the electronic flight bag, which sits right off the captain's left, first officer's right. They're both identical. Okay, so we all know today's PAX count was 177, cargo 300, as you can see. Now, the only way in the flight factor crafts, and that is the 777, or probably the 777, I don't have it, but the 767, for sure, you have to have called them or have the units there to be able to load them. Nice feature to have that there. So you have to have your cargo or belt loaders here to put on your cargo. One thing about the Flight Factor A320 to take into account: the people, figure them at about 210 pounds, and that includes baggage. So when you're trying to work with SimBrief, Professional Flight Planner, TopCat, any additional weight changes you need to do to the plane, you can just do in the cargo section. Just something to think about. So we got our 300 kilograms here, our 177 peeps here, and our fuel is at 10,870. Now I'm just going, it's just a couple more pounds or kilos that I got from Professional Flight Planner. All of that's been loaded into my TopCap program. Between that and another program, which I'll get to when we get to the performance portion, we'll be using to get this aircraft going. Okay, so we've got all of that done. Since we've got the fuel, let me just show you the perf data. So the breakdown is 59, 59, 59 into 3 cabin areas, even though it's a single cabin. It's not broken down to first, business, and cattle cars. I mean, coach, sorry. It's all coach. So it's squeeze them in, push them up into the overhead bands, wherever you can put people. That's what we've got the plane set up for. Just kidding. It's not that bad. 3x3, front to back. All right, and then over here, you can verify. Here's your dry operating weight. So make sure you take that number, it's in kilograms, folks, to your SimBrief as your empty weight. Don't use the standard one because it won't match up to this plane. This gets it pretty close if you use that figure I told you. There's your passenger figure. There's your cargo. There's our zero fuel weight. So we're looking good. Here's the fuel boarded. So we're estimating out of here at 68,880 pounds. The CG at zero fuel weight is 26.6. Make sure up. I hate that. I think it's 28. 28.6, and then once we got our fuel on, 26.9. Right now the trim is up 0.3, and if you click set when you get to the point in the McDo where you're doing the performance, putting in your weights, all you got to do is click weight boarded or something like that. Let me take a look at the checklist here, exactly the verbiage. Weight request. It's right when you come to the weight page. That'll put all your weights in from this page. Nice feature, kind of speeds things up. All right, so speaking of speeding things up, let's press on to the APU start. And folks, please, if you're a Flight Factor A320 and X-Plane user, if you know how I can check this test so I can see if everything's going off correctly on the main panel, I would sure love to hear from you. Like I said, I'm still getting used to that new key. All right, because basically when you test up here, you're also looking for a few things down here, like caution lights. Should enunciate here and below whichever engine or APU that you're testing. It should enunciate. Oh, and I should mention, since I just happened to catch a glimpse of it, in your preliminary check, make sure that the radar panels here is in the off position. And that's that switch right there. Is that going to be easy enough to bring back down? No, it's not. Oh well. Not a killjoy for me. But anyway, make sure that radar's off. Okay, so for the APU flow here, it's real simple. Couple steps. Okay. You can barely hear it, but there's the dong going off, and again you would see information down here telling you, hey, you got a problem. Once we do that, then all we got to do is click APU master. Here, let me just kind of zoom it a little bit. I think it'll let me. Yep. Okay, so we're going to come down, nope, not probe heat, to APU, to the APU, which is in the middle, lower middle of the upper panel. Click switch. Then we come down. What we're looking for is flap open. And what that means is everything's good for the start. Flaps open to take in the air to start the engine. Flap open. Go back up. Click the switch that says start right below it. And guess what's happening? It's starting. And you can see them. Here, I can zoom it a little bit more. You can see them going up. Once it says APU avail up here, then we can go up and the generator is already going to be on. We just turn in the bleed on. It takes just a couple more seconds, so bear with me. I'm going to get a sip of coffee. And okay, and there's the avail. Also, you can see the gen is available, but the bleed is still closed. Come up top, APU bleed. Let me see how well we can zoom. Coming down, APU bleed on. Okay, so now we're getting air to the passengers back there. Something they would probably like. A day like this, it might need to be warmed. We'll go through the METAR here in a few minutes, but we are below normal here in Missouri, or at least in the St. Louis area. Okay, matter of fact, let me you all have that up there on the chat box. It's currently 9 degrees Celsius in Springfield. Well, as of 14:52, about a half hour old. So it could be 10 degrees, but it's still way below normal. That's fine. I like these temperatures. All right, so we're going to move on now. We've got the APU fired up. We've done all of our preliminary checks, making sure everything's set before we get into the actual overhead panel set. And the big thing is we want to make sure this plane doesn't move for the duration of aligning the ADARs, the IRSs. All right, so going up to the overhead, the flow is we go up the panels instead of down. Boeing guys, I know you go down the panels. Here we're going up. The checklist, however, misses a few things, and that's probably because they're not modeled. Like the voice recorder test. Do that here, it's not modeled. These two faults you can't turn off until you're aligned, and they'll go off on their own. Just like the gens over here. Those go off on their own when the engines start. Makes sense. The generators aren't on until the engines are on. Okay, so we're just going to go up, and there we are. Hit the ADARs. IR1. This one's number 2. This one's number 3. So all we do, move it to nav. You'll see a line. A few seconds later, seems like an eternity sometimes, on BAT. And that's what we're really looking for, is to make sure these IR units will come on if we lose all our power. Moving number 2 to nav. There's the on BAT. And number 3. Now a lot of guys just go 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 3, 2, because sometimes you just click, 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 and then move on. I wait for the on BAT. I try to be a little bit realistic, realizing there is no realism in this for the most part. You know, it's just a great, for me, relaxation to get behind the cockpit, fly one of these planes. Okay, so we got our ADARs aligning. So now we drop down, and there's really not much above that, and I don't know how to use these panels up here, so we come back down. Hang on a second, there we go. And the next thing is we move the strobes to auto. Seatbelt sign can go on. The no smoking sign's already on. Emergency lights I've already armed. I do that as soon as I get in the cockpit. Landing elevation is set to auto, 12 o'clock. There's the auto set. Fuel pumps. Okay, so as we come up, we're just looking for anything that might say off or lit up. Reason being, when they're off and dark, they're actually on. So all of these are in the on positions, ready to go. Of course, we can't do anything with these till the engines come on, but we can turn all of these to off, to on. Okay, and then we're going to do our engine fire checks. Now, like I said, I don't know how don't know how to be able to go down and see that those are lighting up. Okay, once we do that, come back down. We're going to work our way up. Now, if you haven't done the cargo heat, there'll be 2 off buttons here. Click them and then set your temperature. I set it to aft, right up 12 o'clock, right in the middle of hot and cold. There'll also be, where would they be? There are, oh, it's this one, cruise supply. That'll be off as well. I turned that on in the prep. Working our way up, we just make sure the radio is powered up on VHF 3. And the little dot you can see right there above VHF 3 is on. Okay, that takes care of our overhead panel. Okay, so let's move now and check our main panel and pedestal before we set up our McDo. Now we're going to come back up here and we're going to strictly deal with right in here. But for now, we're dealing with everything else. So let me, I don't know if I can scroll back. I'll widen it out just a tad. Okay, so what we're looking for, the anti-skid and nose wheel steering, that is this switch located right next to your auto brake. Make sure it's on. The FMC, gotta love the little joke there. Boeing, these 2 units are called FMCs. Airbus, McDo, MCDU. I have no idea what it stands for. I have no idea what they stand for. Cockpit, data unit. I don't know what the multi-cockpit. Who knows? They're just affectionately called McDos. And just got to make sure they're powered on, and then we're going to come down and we're going to check on the pedestal that the radios are set, VHF 1, VHF 2, and we'll set our frequencies. Now on POSCON, we've already gotten what the frequencies are. We use common traffic air frequencies when ATC is not around. Not like VATSIM that just stays on 22.800. We'll actually use 22.950 a lot of the airports. Then we use 120, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when we're in the air as our frequency, talking frequencies. We do keep 121.5 available so ETC can get a hold of us, the guard channel. And then, so 122.950 is our departure frequency and arrival frequency. Once we're airborne and out of the local area, I try to remember, and I always forget, to switch to 123.450. Kind of confusing, but that's POSCON. That's why VATSIM keeps it simple with one frequency. Good or bad, who knows? I don't go on VATSIM a lot because the controllers can get very interesting and very ridiculous at times. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to badmouth them. But the big check here you got to do in order to talk, and this is VATSIM, Pilot's Edge, POSCON, make sure your microphone is turned on. So the mic, here, let me see when I can't zoom in on this, sorry. So where you see VHF 1, make sure the green light's on above it, or you're not going to transmit. Let me demonstrate. If you see COM 1, you're transmitting. That was not good. I was transmitting. Now you're going to see transmitter is not enabled to the mic input, so select your radio. There you go. So that's all you got to do. The 767, you work it from here. One too many. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, get it right yet. There we go. All right, and then over here, all we're just making sure is it's on the VHF 2. There you go, folks. There's your, oh, and we'll get our TCAS frequency in, which was 1156. So clear twice. And I'll switch it to TA now. All right, that, folks, completes the overhead and main panel pedestals. So let's move on to the McDo's now. So we're going to come back. Oop, let's do it this way. I'm going to pull them both out. That's a good place for that one. We'll just kind of put it there. Now, to get to this page, if you ever need to, just to check, you click Data, Aircraft Status. That's all we're going to use that one for. Okay, so for the McDo, we're going to confirm the engines. We're going to confirm the nav data, which everything is good. We're getting close to a nav data, aren't we? Nope, we got 10 more days. And then the AirNac will update. Oh, pardon me, folks. All right, so that's all we check here. Then we go to the initialize iNet page, and we're going to put in KSGF. That's where we're departing, / KIWA. That's where we're going. We put that in the from to. There's no flight plan waiting for us. Flight number will be good and say AAY. Oh, what did I type? Of course, I'm one down too far. 679. 679. Okay, cost index I believe was 24 and 36. Okay, so 24 for the cost index. 36,000. And I'll just take the temperature default. I've never tried the wind, so I'm, well, what the heck. Oh, interesting. Huh, never done that before. Okay, cool. And then, oh, what I just clicked was the IRS. This will actually initialize the IRS. So we won't see how it says GPS primary lost. Once they're done, it won't say that. And then we'll align and confirm. And now it's aligning. And we'll return. Okay, now my checklist says we go on to weights here. I go to doing the flight plan. Kind of out of order to me. So we'll click F plan and double check our METAR because we have been here for a little bit. So stand by. Update 030 at 7. So we're going to still use runway 2. All right, that's a big thing I was looking for. Departure. Runway 2. We have no SIDS here, folks, so do this, and that's basically it. And then we go to our flight plan. And flight plan is... Okay, kind of looks kind of weird, so bear with me here. First fix is PER. Okay, next fix. Lost you. Where'd you go? Well, there you are. MMB. May have to switch up here. Hang on. This one. Okay, and I'm going to explain what just came up on the screens here. Just going to try to make this a little easier for my eyes to focus in on. There we go. Okay, GPS primary. Now we're aligned. You can see how everything looks different. It says GPS primary. And we'll just click clear and clear. Back to what we're doing. So MMB, direct FTI, Fox Tango India. Click on the fix. You'll find a lot of information for the fix, but we're going to click on airway now. As you can see in the route from FTI to Zune, we're on an airway. So we're going to go via J 244. 2 is our fix we're going to. CUN, I believe. Yep, CUN. Boom. Okay, so that puts us there, and I'm going to go ahead and green us up. The last thing we have is the arrival, and what I'm going to do is go to the arrival page, and we are planning 12 right. Uh-oh, looking like we may not have. So it's an RNAV. Let's double check. Do what? Now what are we doing, Navigraph? Alright, hang on a second here. I love when Navigraph changes. Would have been nice if it would come up. Okay, so what does that do? Ah, hopefully that keeps it up now. Alright, so that's nice. Oh, you know what? I probably just have to do this and that. Alright. I'm just looking to see what we have approach-wise here. Yeah. It's looking like that's what it's going to be in RNAV. Okay. And okay, I'm just trying to get oh, you gotta love this one. Not really, but anyway. Okay, so what I'm doing here is trying to figure out how our star fits into all of this. Okay. All right, so it's going to be an interesting approach. Okay, hang on. Come on, guys. I don't want... And is it Zune, our last one? Yes. They really make this hard. Okay. And let me just go through this real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, well. All right, so everything is programmed in. Make sure. Okay, now when we get to beta, that's when we're BAYTA, that's when we're going to head to our Lakely. So, interesting. All right, so that takes care of getting the flight plan loaded. Wow, sorry folks, that took a little bit. Wasn't expecting some things, but that's good. We're ready to go now with Navigraph. We'll get to the right screen here. All right. So now, pressing on with the McDo, we're going to go back up now and we're going to enter our weights. Okay, there's our cost. There's that. Which arrow? I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay, so it's giving us our times. Here's the zero fuel weight, zero fuel config, or a CG. Oops. That's one thing I don't... Gosh dang it, come on. Okay, so... That's one thing I don't like about Flight Factor, but that's okay. It's pretty good otherwise. Okay, so I'm just bringing it down as a way for us to look to get at the same information. Okay, so when I push weight request, it's going to pull this data. That's zero fuel weight CG, that totals zero fuel weight. And we're going to verify. 55.8. Oh, that is not right. Okay, it did not load it right. There it goes. Okay, so now it's loaded right. Okay, and there's our block, 10.9, rounds up. I don't like it when it rounds up, but that's what we got to deal with. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now we're going to go to the perf page. Okay, so we're going to be using TopCat here and Professional Flight Planner combination here. TopCat's going to be more on top of it. And we just had a wind update, still 8 degrees. Okay, so we dry. I forgot to look. Overcast. No mention of rain, so okay. Okay, so we are going to go. Okay, flaps 2 / up 1. So that'll be 0.1. Flexing at 51. V speeds 138 for V1, 140, and sorry folks, I unfortunately can't pull TopCat into this, and 143. Okay, so that's going to be a V1 of 138, so that's because we're on a dry runway, 140 for the rotate, 143 for V2. And our flap speeds are here. Transitions 18,000. The other site that I use, we can't, we got to go to it. Does not carry this airport, so we'll just go with the default numbers. And I do not know what takeoff shift is, so folks, again, in the chat room, if you're familiar with this, I would love to hear. And Jay Drums, welcome in from Mid-America again. Yes, it is a scare bus just to scare you. Although it's better than the Trash 8 that gets thrown in the, or Trash 80 that gets thrown in the garbage can like it should. But anyway, again, enough trash talking on the MD-80 because it is a piece of crap. But anyway. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day out there, Mr. Drums. So let's see here. We're pretty much, hang on, get rid of that for y'all. Let's get our McDo one more time to make sure. I believe we have everything performance-wise. Yes, we do. So folks, it's been almost an hour. Sorry for taking all your time here and getting the plane ready, but we are ready to start thinking about pushing back. Only thing left to do is the center panel. Like I said, we've got a QNH of 3016. Oops. There we go. FD is on. LS is off. Nav, I'm going to go ahead and turn mine to VOR. We're set to ARC, we're set to 20, and we're set to constraints. Auto throttle is set, and then all we have to do is set. Let me do it the easy way. All right, we're going up to 36, barring any restraints and constraints. Dink, dink. All right, that at least gives us our VORs down here. Okay, so we are ready to push back. With that, I am going to bring up my ACARS program for Mac Air. All right, so looking it over, you can see the flights in here. The only thing I haven't done is selected my airplane. Bear with me, that takes a little bit. Oop. And we'll see if it's just like getting the flip. There it is. I was right at the bottom. We'll load it, and aircraft loaded with 100, and I can only go to 150, so that's all I'll put. And 36, and we'll start the flight. All right, so there's Mac Air. That's who we're flying for, folks. They're a really good VA. They really do a good job. And we're on the board, correct? Yep, we are. Okay, so with that, we need to close up the doors and get the beacons on and call the tow truck. We'll do the doors first. So we'll start with these guys. We'll remove. Okay, they're gone. He's gone. We're fueled. Making sure nothing got messed with. Okay. We'll go ahead and close up the aircraft. All right, so let's take a look outside. We can see everything is closed. Let's go another view. We can see the main doors closed. As we come around, the chocks are still in the, and yes, I guess that wall really does exist instead of a fence. And we can see all of our cargo doors, baggage loading doors closed. All right, so let's call for the pushback. And we use better pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Hopefully it will do this.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead, click off the external power, and remove the chocks. And yes, better pushback will drive through anything on here. It's really cool. Okay, so all we're doing is now waiting on her. I am going to set my speeds for sounds.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
And 140. What did I say for V2? 143. Okay, then we'll turn that off at the same time. All right, just waiting on her. All right, a minute or an hour
Tow
and
connected
two.
and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
An hour and 2 minutes into the flight, and we're releasing the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay. Kind of watching it a little bit. To start engines, it's all pretty much automated with the Airbus. All we do is come down, and I'm just moving my page here on the checklists to the engine area. We're going to take the switch that was at 12 o'clock, move it over to about 2 o'clock, which is engine start, and we'll start number 1. And you can see that it's firing up. There's the gray box and the numbers going up. All the other numbers will register as well. It'll light off on its own, and we'll know we're good to start the next one when it says avail right up in here. Really curious how this is going to work. And I really don't like the blur. See how it says avail? So technically we could start up number 2 right now. Let me just zoom in, see if everything really is stabilized.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Okay.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right. Let's go ahead and do just what she asked. We'll start number 2. Okay. All right, once she pulls away, we're going to be watching for the pin, but we can do all of our other checks until that point. And then once we see the pin, we're good to taxi. That way we know nothing's pinned on our gear to prevent it from coming up or moving as we taxi.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay. And thanks for flying with Mike. Alright folks, so we have the Avail. You saw it there. The gray is gone, so we know the engine's good. We're going to wait for the pin, and then we'll do the last checks. There we go. Pin in hand. We can do our checks and boogie on. Okay, we just acknowledged we saw it, and so let's continue on with the after start. We'll come back down here, move the engine start mode back to normal. And we turned our transponder on. We'll hold on the lights for just a second. We've already got nav and logo lights on. We got to get up to the middle, turn the brake fan on. That's across from the landing gear indicators. That's on. Weather radar can now be turned on. I'm going to wait till the runway. Well, actually, we can't turn it on now. Let's go ahead. And we'll leave everything in auto. Spoilers, arm. And what you're looking for is the white ribbon right at the bottom there. Flaps to 2. And then we'll turn the parking brake off here. We'll also click the trim, and take a look here. We should be showing flaps 2. It's kind of why I wanted to do things right now. There we go. Okay, so sorry about that cough in your ears, folks. Okay. Nice, 40 minutes. Okay, so we are ready to taxi. Just scanning everything. Okay, so hang on a second. Springfield traffic, Mac Air 572, taxiing from gate 2 to runway 2 for departure. And no, I'm not going to give them the information of how we're going to get there. However, we will do a quick departure brief, so that way we're not remiss in that. That way you all have an idea of what we're looking at. This is all we're going to have, folks. Is our chart here for the airport. There are no SIDS out of here. So let me just get that out of the way so it's not distracting. If we had ATC, these are the frequencies we'd run on. We're right here facing north or towards the north. We're going to taxi around to Echo, over to Uniform, and onto the runway for departure. It's a 7,000-foot runway, so that's why the configure 2 instead of 1F. Beyond that, there really isn't any other information we have for the airport. So we know our V speeds, and they are, hang on a second. B1 is, we'll confirm here, 138, 140 for rotate, and 143 for V2. All right, brief is complete. Let's get this plane over to the runway. Parking brake off. And we'll give it a little power. There's our signals. Oh, we're not going to take off, and there we go. Wings are on. I really don't like that heat blur they do in X-Plane, in this one at least. Some of the other ones aren't too bad. This one, I'm not a big fan of. But all right, we're moving away from Springfield, Branson. Give you a nice view of the flaps. Oh, look at that in the gate. Whatever that little V-tailed jet is called. Alright. Yeah, Airbus doesn't have this on the 320s. I believe the 330 and 340, one of the two do, and definitely the 600 does, and it's just to help them on the ground. Because you really can't see much, folks, from the cockpit. Especially on the 600, you're so far ahead of the wing. They also have one underneath so you can track your line. It's pretty neat on the 340, 600. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the heads up there. All right, we're coming out onto Echo here. All right, and we'll see you at the, we'll be talking with you again at the end of the runway here. So, hope you enjoy the ride here out. All right, folks, we're getting close to the runway, so let's do some quick recapping here. We've taxied Echo to uniform. End of the runway is staring us down. Spoilers are armed. As we can see on our list here. Hang on a second, let me do something else. Well, let's get our little tablet out. Keep forgetting I have this here. My little tray. Spoilers are set to arm. Flaps are at 2 as required. Auto brakes. That's what we forgot. Put those on max. There's the IFR hold, which we are not under instrument, I believe. We'll make sure. And then we'll do our takeoff config here as we come out of the curve. And there's our enhanced hold line on the center line. Let's do our takeoff config. That's the last check we have before we're good to go. We're gonna hold right there. Springfield, Branson traffic, Mac Air 572 departing runway 2, IFR to Phoenix. They don't need to know yet where. Alright, so at the holding line, packs 1 and 2 off. Landing lights on. Nose light transponder is on TARA. And let me check one thing. I'm going to go all. Actually, no, we're going to go above. Okay, here we go, folks. Okay, we've been push and hold. Push, line up and wait.
Approaching 02.
Yeah, we're marginal. Okay, let's and by the way, with our performance figures calculated, we should have, if the performance in this plane is correct, for the flex takeoff, 140 feet. On the EFB there, you can see the weather in the area.
On runway 02.
Okay. Set the parking brake up. Like I said, on the EFB, you've got an idea of what we're looking at weather-wise, all the way, well, part of the way there. Okay, takeoff checklist, throttle powered, not to Togo, we'll go to flex. Why is it flashing speed brake? Oh, they went on for some reason. Weird.
On
Okay,
runway 02. On runway 02.
Do another Toga or takeoff test. There we go. And we'll get the APU turned off. Okay, here we go, folks. There's 80.
V1, rotate. V2.
Gear up.
Gear up.
And we'll do a little hand flying here around the corner. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and let the autopilot do a better job of it than I can. Okay. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, we're in thrust climb, managed. All right, so let's go through the after takeoff. So we're gonna got the flaps up to 0. We'll make sure brake fan can come off. And auto brakes can be disarmed. Okay, making sure everything looks good here. There we go, folks. We're on our way to Phoenix-Mesa. About to make another turn here. As we go direct now to Per, which is... let me pull that up here real quick. Get rid of that. Load sheet. Per, I don't know if it's going to tell me the name, or Pioneer. And that's real close to those of you that fly any of the military VAs. That's close to Vance Air Force Base, where the basic training in the T6s occur for the pilots. Some T1 and T38. Now they may be flying the... no, they're still T38s, I'm sure. But they might be flying the new
10,000 feet.
There's 10,000. At that point, runway lights go off. Strobes and all will turn the wing lights off. And anti-ice. Let's take a look at our temperatures. They're all listed right here. TAT is not below 0, so we're good. There we go, folks, climbing out for 36,000. One thing I haven't done here of late, let me do that check now. Okay, I'm just doing a couple things. Okay, no ATC controllers are up. And actually there is nobody around us. Let me see if there's anyone in the United States. Oh, there's one. Okay. So, off we go on POSCON, folks. Let me move up our range. Don't know how to turn the terrain radar on here. Have to watch a few more videos on how to get that turned on, but we're on our way, folks. So enjoy the ride. I'll be chatting with you all here shortly as we reach top of climb. And if that music is too loud, let me know. If it needs to come up, let me know. I'm using Spotify, so doing the best we can here and trying this out and see if we can't make this a better stream for y'all.
Feet.
Okay, with 18,000, let's get up here and go to standard. It'll show up here. Let me zoom in. Show up here And if we look over, they're both at standard, $29.92 in the United States. Okay, after that, again, we check our anti-ice if it's needed, and it is on as it is right now. Interesting story with this tail number. Actually visited Mid-America last week. I was trying to figure out if that was an A319 or A320 on the ramp, and happened to look back at the tail number. That was the bird sitting there, so that was pretty cool to me. November 244, November Victory. Okay, folks, we're about 2,000 feet up from our top of climb. Looking like we're gonna be in there in approximately 2 hours and we'll call it 12 minutes. So got a little ways to go here. Seeing some things I don't like with Spotify as of right now, but that's because I don't pay for it. But yeah, we'll keep running the music here in a moment. Just taking a look ahead. Weather in Mesa is in the chat there, but it's basically almost right down the runway. 130 at 8 for the winds at this moment. 10-mile visibility and the sky's clear. That's what we expect in Arizona. And is the temperature hot yet there? It's 27 degrees Celsius. For those of us that live in the Fahrenheit world, it's in the mid 80s, low to mid 80s right now, so not too bad out there yet. Then again, it's only May. It's not the middle of summer when temperatures probably soar well into the 110 degree range mark. So top of climb's at about 800 feet, so we'll stay with you here through that, and then we're going to go ahead and turn the seatbelts off, and Barrow is standard. So folks, we've reached the cruise. Let's just kind of set this one up for okay. Alright, so they're both still in climb. We're in a managed climb, and you can also tell that two different areas. One, besides on the McDo saying managed, you'll see dots appear as well. And we are level at 36,000, folks. Hope you enjoy the flight. Any questions, comments, or what have you, feel free to hit me up in the chat room. But for now, we got about 2 hours ahead of us. Y'all have a great day, and here goes the music. And again, any commercials, I do apologize. And thanks for flying with Mike. leave 9,000. I can get that in a minute here. And this is my first stream with Spotify. I haven't seen where it says it's muted anything, so I apologize if any of the music got muted. I believe it's all, I can't think of the term they use, but I believe it's all the legal stuff that we're allowed to play, that Pretzel Rocks would play. So, one other thing I noticed after we, continued on, I had balanced out my fuel tanks and forgot to turn them both back on. Good thing is we were, okay, let me take a look here real quick at my descents. Come on, put my information up there. Oh, Navigraph, you upset me sometimes. Yeah, it's being a pain, folks. Okay, so below 28 at press. Nutty or Huddy below 20. Okay. Descent is showing 20 miles out. So let's go through this before it tells us to. We had it up there. Sorry, folks. Performance. Next, Q&H is 2985. Okay, temperature shows 29. 6. And you're still not behaving. Okay, gotcha. God, how you're gonna be. Well, there's another way to get what I need. Hang on a second. currently...
Recently, on the pitch from Gimlet, we opened up the phone lines and let listeners call in and pitch their businesses. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, some ideas are easier to understand than others.
CBD drink. This is what this is? Okay, so
Okay,
you do
we're
like
starting
oil
our
changes
descent,
and you do
folks.
it all mobile? Are these like cryo tanks you're talking about? That's crazy. It's like a Geiger counter for the sun. Cool. Tap now to listen to Pitchline Bonanza from the pitch.
And there's our green dot that we're waiting to come back down. We're going to manage descent. Now, folks, next altitude, we got to be below 28,020 miles. I was clicking the wrong unit, that's why. Alright, so we're descending into Phoenix at this time, folks. Let me get some updated information on this screen. Okay, there's Phoenix, so we're somewhere right in here, centered, coming down. Texture blending isn't much different than FSX here. Okay, so to continue the descent, let's go ahead, put the seatbelt sign on. Started the descent, and we'll kind of ride it out down now, folks. Let's see how much more of this on. About halfway over. Once it's finished, we'll turn them off. It's almost the last song that I've got lined up this time for in-flights. Wow. And that wasn't planned that way, folks. I was just putting music in here that I kind of like watching or listening to on other flights. So I just kind of created this playlist off of that on Spotify. Sounds like our EOD folks at Scott Air Force Base are training again today. Starting to hear some booms coming from the base. Always fun when they do it at night and don't tell anyone. Alright, let's see how we're descending. Slightly off. Alright, I didn't catch that, so hang on a second here, folks. And looking over at the other one, we're looking good. Okay. Alright. Actually, this kind of really does look kind of pretty in this area. Pretty hot in the summer. Probably pretty cold in the winter. Okay, so looking at our nav display, 10 to 11,000 at Rosie, 14 to 12 at Checker. Okay. Okay, so there's probably where I'm going to go direct. So again, our altitude for the airfield is 1,384 feet. All right, so take a look at the arrival. Yeah, we'll be doing good. $10,000 feet, folks. We are going to. We have already it was 5, right? Yeah. Okay, lights on. Okay, once we're cleared the approach, which is coming up right now. Okay, slowing us up to 220 at the same time. We're going to go ahead and kick out some, as some guys call it, panels. I'm just going to get the speed brakes going to get us slowed up. Okay. All right, let's get our speed brakes armed at medium. Nose lights, APL, elbow brakes, flaps. We're not using them yet. Okay, we're at 220. Lakey will kick her over to the approach phase. We're going to go ahead and dial in. So you can see what we're going to do. Oh, it's going to have us, well, we're going to turn quicker. Okay, so we're at 6,200. Checklist time. Okay, QNH is set. Anti-ice is not a problem. Runway, nose lights, and all will come on as we turn final. AP does not need to be on. Auto brake set to medium. Flaps, and we're good to go. Final. Okay. Okay, so we're rounding Lakey, and we're going to slow a little bit more. Actually, we're going to go to approach phase. Slats can go out at 214. Alright, so here we go. Alrighty. So hopefully you're not getting my wife too much. She's in a meeting and we kind of are coinciding here. And right now we're looking for the runway. Matter of fact, let's go ahead, since we're at 180, kick the gear out. And let's get oh, I've got the airfield. And there's 12 right staring us down. Kind of interesting they got us that high that far out, or did I misread the chart? Oh, 3,000, my bad. Okay, so yeah, that makes more sense now that we're at 3,000.
2,500. $1,000.
Approaching 1, 2, right. Flaps, flaps.
500. 400. 300. 200.
Gear down.
We're going to go ahead and go missed, folks.
Gear up.
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low, terrain.
Alright, much better speed. A little overshoot.
Flaps.
1,000.
Flaps. Approaching. 1, 2, right.
No, I don't see any pappies on 1, 2, right.
500.
Alright, stable.
400.
For the most part. There we go, stable.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, we're in reverse. Okay, we'll take it. Another missed approach, but we came in at 326 feet a minute. I guess I'm the only one that guessed. What I am going to do is get that radar off. Alright, folks. Welcome to Phoenix-Mesa. Phoenix, that is. Mesa, Arizona. Interesting. I think that's the terminal over there. What we're going to do is clear up and okay, let's hold up here and clean up. Okay, so we're after spoilers, brake fans can come off. Oh, they were never on. I thought I had them on. Okay, flaps up. Okay. Spoilers disarmed, transponder to standby, weather radar's off. APU. Waiting on the flap open. And start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mesa, Arizona. Temperature here is roughly 90 degrees outside, and as you can tell, skies are clear. Hope you enjoyed the flight. We'll be in the gate about 5 to 10 minutes. Flight attendants, prepare for gate arrival. Alright folks, so we're taxiing in. We'll be using Bravo to Yankee. And I'm going to double check here while we get straightened out. Okay, and oh, that is it. Okay. All right, so as soon as we get up here, we'll turn for the terminal, which is right there. Okay, so there you go folks, the terminal is staring us down. Now these are exits, our gates on the outside. They don't have any jetways that I'm aware of here. Alright, so we'll kind of head over to the south end here. I think we'll take the next one. Actually, we'll take this one. Okay, so we're just waiting right now on the chocks. Oh, anyway, folks, welcome to Mesa. We're in the terminal right now. I have no idea what gate we're at. We had to do a go around, but we've made it in here safely. All right, so let me run through the checklist here real quick, and then we'll go back and take a look at the landing as we head out for the day. Parking brakes on, power levers idle. How about we turn the APU bleed on? And then we're going to turn the engines off. Okay, and external lights can go off if they're not already. And at the same time, let's get the GPU and the chocks in. Okay. All right, so that gets everything shut down. Fuel pumps can come off. And if the brake fan was on, which I think we forgot we did, we're good to go. So we are shut down here, folks. We hope you enjoyed the stream. Hang on a second here. We'll get some new music here for going out. All right, so let me do something here real quick. Hopefully we'll leave it like this. All right, so let's go in reverse here and see the landing from a couple of views. Hang on, we're going to do a couple of things first. Okay, so we're going to pause this for a moment. We'll start the song in a minute. I want to make sure we don't screw up my flight. PyRep is being sent. Okay, and checking that real quick. Hope you all enjoyed the landing and the go around that had to be done. Millennium. That's all I needed to see from them. And we'll close that. And we're going to just log out of POSCON. Okay. All right, let's rewind this and see the landing. So let's take a look at this. Like I said, we had a 326 feet a minute landing. And now let's play the grand finale. Pretty stable. That wasn't too bad, folks. All right, let's rewind. Take a look at this view and see how the landing looked from this person's point of view. Not sure if that's I-10 that we just flew over. Be my guess. Not bad. One more time. Actually, maybe two. We'll go from, how about here? Take a look at it from this way. I mean, it looks good when you watch the videos, except for the little ziggy zags on the runway afterwards, but can't complain too much here, folks. And I don't know. We're going to go from the tower view. All right, we'll just let it run from here, folks. Kind of saw this with another stream, but I kind of like that what he did here, so let's see how that works out. Okay, hang on. Guaranteed to look like a beautiful landing, he said. We'll see. It's a tower view, folks. I don't know if we can zoom in or not. Nope. Like I said, looks like a beautiful landing, doesn't it? He isn't kidding about that top of the tower. Wonder how many of the real Allegiants make that first taxiway, because they know where they're. Oh, look how close I was. It's the only bad thing from up here, folks. Like, it's like, oh, why couldn't I make that? Oh, look, there's an Allegiant coming at me. That, folks, is live traffic. That's why it disappeared. I'm not on POSCON, I'm not on VATSIM. So, folks, we want to thank you for being with Flying with Mike today. We hope you enjoyed the 3-hour flight. And we'll see you maybe tomorrow. Good chance not. I've got to head into work, so I may not. So you all have a great day. Again, thank you all for joining Flying with Mike. God bless. You all have a great Monday.